throw me into these situations. So happy Saturday. Welcome to this amazing Zoom Dave does every week. Talks about the products and our compensation plan, answers questions. It's just a great place to either get a refresher, learn more, or learn about it in the first place. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal Small, and I have been using Isagenix for 2.5 years. And it's just changed so much. I could talk to you for an hour about what it's changed, but I really didn't understand why I felt so amazing like the first week, and just so grateful that Dave has taken this really complex science and made it so simple. And I get it now. I get why I feel so good. So yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted me to jump in with, Dave? No, okay, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. And you reminded me of somebody I was doing a presentation for once, and why I love to do the presentations in the format that I do. Somebody had come and he said, you know what, now that I look back, I was on Isagenix like 4 years ago or something like that. And he said, I felt amazing and my work was just flowing. And I felt like, and he's a presenter for motivational stuff. He just said, I felt so good, and it just felt like life was going from one thing to the next. And then, as time went on, I didn't feel that way anymore. And he's all, but I stopped using the Isagenix products. Had I seen your presentation, I would have never stopped taking them, because nobody had taught me any of that stuff, and I didn't know why I was feeling so good. Isn't that amazing? So I love teaching people the science behind the products and kind of why we don't feel good, teach behind that, educate behind that, and then, why we do, how this resolves that problem and why it does. And it just empowers people. It's that whole adage of give somebody a fish and you feed them for a day, or teach somebody how to fish and you feed them for life. So let's jump right into this. We're going to go into the science of the products, the ForeverPak, is what we call it. And then we're going to jump into our Saturday business training for those that want to stick around. So, all right. So what do you know about telomeres? I was introduced to that word in 2009, and I had never heard of it before. And it was Dr. Bill Andrews, and it was at a lecture. Excuse me, dealing with little allergies here. He started talking about a telomere and how it's the cap on the ends of the chromosome. And that, let me go to the next slide. Actually, you know what, let me just back up for just a second here before I jump into the telomere, but we'll go into that. It always starts with, in most cases, something that grows into some kind of movement. It usually starts with somebody's profound experience in one way or another, a personal profound experience. And that's what it was for me. That's how I got started with this. And then today, here I am 15 years later. And in just the last 10 years, I've done over, probably 5 to 10,000 presentations on what we're going to talk about here in a minute. And it's really blessed a lot of people's lives, including mine and my family's. So it started back in 2005. So really it was 15 years ago. And I was exercising and eating extremely healthy and supplementing, and really on the extreme side of exercise, and it wasn't working for me for about the third time. And I was 36 years old right here. Isagenix shows up in my life, and I'm going to really hit things very quickly here, but we'll hit the main points. And in 25 days, I had a complete transformation, both physically and mentally, my energy, everything. And I just stayed on the products and continued to work out. And it was a big night and day difference between being on this nutrition, along with eating regular food, but also adding this nutrition to what I was currently doing. And it made a huge difference. It was a night and day difference. And I just haven't looked back ever since. I found the solution that I've been looking for my whole life. And well, I would say in my adult life, because it was really about my late 20s when my health and keeping the weight off really started to deteriorate. And I always had a problem with fatigue, even as a teenager. And I haven't now for 15 years. And then this product came out, and the science behind it that evolved. Really the science behind this wasn't even there, really, not on the level it was when the collaboration was made in 2009. So this, I got on this product, and it turned back the clock in my cells and started supporting my DNA, which nutrition can support DNA, but it doesn't restore it in a proactive, positive way. At least it hadn't up to this point. And this turned back the clock in my cells by really supporting the DNA on a profound level in a way that it never has before. And we're going to talk about the science behind that. And here I am. I'm pretty close to 50 years old right here. I might have been 50 right here. And I'm in better shape than when I was 16 years old wrestling. So I want to talk about that and how nutrition really has, I would say at this point, over 90% to do with the results that you're getting, both physically and energy-wise. Absolutely, you are what you eat, right? You put garbage in, you get garbage out. So Bill Andrews, going back to the telomere, I was mentored by Bill Andrews, and a geneticist, and who is leading the research, and I would say is the greatest contributor to what we know and what we can do about telomeres today. He was featured in Popular Science for his contribution to this science, 14-page article just on Bill and his research. And the telomere, so here's the telomere on the ends of the chromosomes. They sit in the middle of every cell, and inside the chromosome, you have your DNA. Think of that as software. It'll be easier to understand how profound a role the DNA plays. And what the telomere's role is to hold this DNA together, right where those colors come together, they could come apart. It would split right there if it wasn't for the telomere at the end. So if you removed the telomere, that DNA would essentially unzip. And that's not a good thing. That's like losing software. So the shorter the telomere gets, the more DNA is unzipping, and the more problems you're having with the cells that's happening in. Well, those cells combined make up our organs: skin, hair, eyes, organs, bones, brain, everything. And telomeres are shortening in all of our cells, some places faster than others, and in some people faster than others. Why? Because of lifestyle choices. If you're eating a lot of processed food with the chemicals in them, those chemicals that are put in there, they're called preservatives and trans fats. They shorten your telomere faster. So if you're eating more processed food, you're going to be shortening your telomeres and unzipping your DNA faster than other people that aren't. And that's why children today won't live as long as their parents, because when you unzip the DNA enough, it reaches something called senescence. That means death of the cell. It's like a computer crashing because it lost so much software. So that's really easy to understand. What's more profound and a little more complicated, is that every symptom of aging and every degenerative disease has been linked to that. MS, Parkinson's, lupus, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, ALS, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, skin and hair issues, eyes and hearing issues, bones, osteoporosis, even wear and tear, like needing a knee replacement or a rotator cuff problem or a shoulder problem, arthritis. You know, these things that lead to pain and fatigue related to the telomere, because you could trace all those back to the cells and the different systems that should be resolving that if they were running optimally. Now that's Nobel Prize winning research, and there's no refuting it. So I really love the science, and having learned on a much more profound level from Bill Andrews about all of this. And then I took that and put it into a presentation so that people could understand what's going on. Our health is our number one asset. And a lot of people are frustrated. They don't know what to do. They're trying different things that don't seem to help. So Bill Andrews was able to identify what's going on within the chromosome. Why is this not healing itself? Because like our skin, when you cut it, it heals itself. When you break a bone, it heals itself. And he knew from much deeper research that this should be healing itself. And he dedicated his life to finding out what's going wrong. And he found it in 1994 on a molecular level. He's a geneticist. And by 1997, he was able to resolve the problem with the chromosome working with human skin cells. And what was he able to do? Get the human skin cell and the gene in the chromosome to produce enough of this enzyme to start winning the tug of war with the stress and the different things that are going on that cause the telomere to shorten. Even with human skin cells in a petri dish, as cells divide, the telomere is shortening, and the telomerase should be fixing it. Well, he got it to do it by 1997. They activated that enzyme to where it was producing enough, and the skin cells right in front of their eyes repaired the DNA and the telomere. That's the first time that's ever happened. Okay, now they did it in a petri dish with human skin cells. Well, what happened after that, years later, almost a decade later, is Harvard was able to do that with mice. And what Bill Andrews and his research team theorized when they did it with the human skin cells, if we could do that to this guy, The only reason he looks aged and diseased in the different ways, the atrophy, is because he's missing DNA in those cells. If we could restore the DNA just like we did with the human skin cells in all of his cells, physically, it should restore his health. It should restore his youthful appearance. He should go back to his mid-20s if you restored all the DNA, because you're missing the software, they're malfunctioning, right? Very simple concept. Hard to understand because we've never seen that before. That's kind of like science fiction, right? Well, Harvard did it with mice, and they saw that happen with the mice. That's why it was given the Nobel Prize. They activated this enzyme enough, so it started winning the tug of war. The DNA started repairing. Now, the first time that's ever happened was in human skin cells. Now it's happening in mice that are living, breathing mammals like you and me. And everything that they theorized would happen to that old guy getting younger and all of the degenerative issues reversing happened in the mice. This mouse used to look as old and have the degenerative disease, and the other mice that were in the studies, they had cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis, cardiovascular issues, skin and hair issues. And when they activated the enzyme and it restored the DNA, all of that went away. Kind of like when you see your skin cut go away, they saw everything go away that was degenerative. Everything, you guys. Even diabetes, look at how rampant that is right now. So that was huge. That's why it was given the Nobel Prize, all right? Now, while Harvard was doing that with the mice, Bill Andrews and his research team were still in his lab working away. So from 1994 to 2009, they had tested over 304,000 different compounds, putting them into the chromosomes one at a time. Out of 304,000, they found 8 that worked. This is an assay that they use. They're the only lab in the world that can do this. This is a testing with the compound, put it into the human skin cell, and see if it activates that enzyme and it repairs the DNA. If the line turns red in this assay, then yes, that compound worked. They found 8 out of 304,000, but they were all chemicals that couldn't be used, too toxic. They exhausted the botanical world. They tried to find compounds that wouldn't be as toxic, and they just, the ones they found were too toxic. So enter the scene. John Anderson was introduced to Bill Andrews by Peter Greenlaw. John Anderson's an incredible nutritional formulator, formulated for over 600 companies, over 2,500 different health products. And he's very unique in the way that he formulates and the things that he's discovered. So like Bill Andrews and his research team, they're the only lab still to this day in the world that can do this kind of testing and validation. And John Anderson is the same, but with nutrition. There are things that he can do in his lab, working with plants and botanicals, that nobody else has figured out how he's doing it. So that's why Peter Greenlaw introduced John to Bill, to see if he could find a compound that would activate the enzyme in the human skin cells. And when John learned about telomeres and telomerase from Bill, he was very excited. I got to watch this happen, you guys. I was privy to this. And he said, had I known this, I would have formulated for telomeres a long time ago. I feel very optimistic. In fact, I believe everything that I've learned and mastered has prepared me for this. I believe it's the reason why I was born. How cool is that, right? So he started sending these little bottles over. In the first batch, he sent 15. And they tested them in the human skin cells. They got this one right here, number 1. At first, they thought he's lucky, because here's Bill and all of his researchers in over 10 years, tested over 304,000 compounds. Here comes this guy, Oh, hi, I'm John Anderson. Oh, wow, I feel very optimistic. Sends 15 bottles and gets a hit. They thought he was extremely lucky. That's what Bill said in an interview, a documentary actually. And then he sent 15 more, got a second hit. That's not luck. Out of 120 of these little bottles, they got these 7. And Bill Andrews said, this is going to change the landscape of human health as we know it, because this is all coming from botanicals. But those botanicals are, the phytochemicals in those botanicals are being arranged in a format that only John Anderson knows how to do. They said, we don't even know how he's doing it, and we're getting the raw ingredients. We tried those ingredients. They didn't work for us. They tried to get John to tell him how he's doing it. I was like, nah, no, that's going to remain proprietary. We're going to protect it. My big problem was in formulating for other companies and letting the word out was that they would compromise the products. They would rip off the customers. They'd put in cheap fillers. They would break it up, and then they'd make it expensive, And he said, I'm not going to do that. We're going to protect the quality, and we're going to get it better and better. And we're going to keep the price where everybody can be on it. And I'm so grateful for John Anderson and Bill Andrews. Both are very good friends. And this happened in 2012. See, the longer the red lines, the more effective it is in supporting the cell and the telomere. Bill called me on this one in 2012. He said that was impossible from a botanical. That's what he told John. And he said that moved his lab forward 15 to 20 years. So these are little representations through their assay that they're doing with the human skin cells that are showing it's activating the enzyme and how much of it's being activated. And we're way past this now. There's over 25 of these red lines, and a lot of them are bigger than these that were found in 2012. We're on what's called 4th generation right now. And it's all natural. Let me grab my bottle. It doesn't even have a childproof cap. My granddaughter opened it at 2 years old and spilled them all out on the ground right here. So that's just explaining that it's safe, right? This is a month's supply. You're doing 2 pills twice a day. So 2 in the morning, 2 at night. One person said, just put it by your toothbrush. Every time you brush your teeth in the morning and at night, take 2 pills. With or without food, it doesn't matter. But this is it. This is pioneering. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Bill Andrews said it'll change the landscape of human health back when the product was released in 2011. And then it wasn't too long after that, he was interviewed, just in a public interview, some radio show or whatever it was, I can't remember. But he said, it's a phenomenon. I'm getting so many different results reported back directly to me from the people that are having them. He said, I've never seen anything like it. It's a phenomenon. He said, it'll be a household name. Oh, this will absolutely change the landscape of human health. Nobody's ever supported telomeres in this way. So this is the raw data. Like people say, I want to see the proof. This is the proof. There's no more proof and immutable facts than you could get than these red lines right here. This is me at 33 years old. This is me at, I think I was about 49, 50. I think I was about 50 right there. I'm 52. I just had my birthday this week, 52. And I was living a healthy lifestyle here. I was even juicing. I was going into the extremes. So, I understand it now. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. This is me and Bill Andrews doing a video together where he was endorsing this information that I put together. I took that video around and I'd show it to people at medical clinics, the medical professionals, to get them to listen to me. The world's most renowned contributor to telomeres endorsing what I had to say. And that was me about 10 years ago right there. That's us lecturing together earlier this year. And then on Facebook, he made a comment that I know more about telomeres than most scientists that call themselves telomere biologists. In this lecture that we were doing together here, he said, you got to be careful out there. There's a lot of charlatans, especially in the anti-aging industry. There are so many snake oil products out there that don't work. He literally used the word charlatans. And there were products that were coming out that were saying they were like ours or even better. And John Anderson made Bill test them. Because Bill said, I don't need to test them. There's no way they would know. That's a false claim they're making. They would not know if their product was working unless we tested it in our lab for them to see if it was inducing telomerase. We're the only lab in the world that can do that. And they haven't come to us. And the fact that they're making that statement, they would be making it blindly. But John made them test some. None of them had any hits to date, you guys. So it's just amazing and an incredible opportunity to hear this information from the source and from a valid source. All right. So, and I don't show that for ego reasons. This is to establish credibility. And on top of that, there's so many clues. I mean, we've had clinical studies around the products. We have so many observationals now that I'm going to share with you. And products not under trial. And what else was I going to say about that? Clinicals, just the science behind it. Bill said you couldn't put it in your body and it not work. All right, so we can't make any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. That's not what I'm saying here. This is nutrition. And when you put your nutrition into your body's going to respond to whatever you put in your body. Put gasoline in, and that's not good, right? Put in junk food, that's not good. Put in nutrition, that's good. How good is that nutrition and what is it addressing? Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine. But I'm not an MD, and this is not medicine. It's not a pharmaceutical drug. So we cannot make any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. But I think you have enough common sense to know that when you put nutrition in your body has the innate ability to heal itself. So put this in your body, see what it'll do for you. Let me give you a couple examples. This is Jimmy Smith at 80. This is him at 90. Physically younger and healthier at 90. Again, I'll remind you, we call it turning back the clock, youthful aging. live long, live healthy. Now you know the foundation of our health. It's telomeres. Now you know we have nutrition that's supporting those in a way that it never has before. Dick Sauter at 82 years old, severe health challenges. And Amy came to a meeting that I was doing, and she got her father-in-law on it. He's 82 here, he's 83 here, he's 87 there. Doing things 5 years later, 5 years older, that he couldn't do here, physically and mentally. And excuse me, here he is at 89. This is about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's about to turn 90. He'll be 90 in July. And he's out working on the farm, doing, digging holes and hauling walnuts around. And this is what Amy told me when she sent me this picture. Almost 90. So this is what the body's capable of. We all know it has this innate ability to heal itself. Anything that's living has an innate ability to thrive. It's just, there's one factor that's very important. It's the human factor and the choices that we make. What are we putting in our body? Well, I wouldn't have known to put this in to support my telomeres back in 2009. I had never even heard of a telomere, and it wasn't available. So this is the greatest discussion we could be having, is what's in this presentation right now, because your health is your number one asset for you and the people you love. Bob Sheridan, I did a couple meetings at his home. I did this presentation in his home. He's world famous. He's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And the hospital sent him home right here. This was December 2011. And a few months later, I find myself in his home doing these presentations. Why? Because he got on this product. See, the hospital sent him home to die. They said, you should have came in sooner. Your cardiovascular system has gotten too weak. We can't even do any surgery on you. You would die on the table. Well, here he is 6 months later. Back to work. He's an announcer. He's the only boxing announcer in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And they're interviewing him like, what? You were just in critical condition. We all thought we were going to lose an icon in the industry. What in the world happened? And he talks about the product and how he got on it and what it did for him. This is 6 months later. And he's still announcing to this day. This is a year later at home, sitting in his recliner. Bought a sports car, got a ticket going 120 miles an hour. I was laughing so hard when I heard that. He's in his 80s now, and he's still announcing. And in his last interview that I read at fightnews.com, he said he feels like he can go on announcing for another 20 years and put him over 100 years old. This is Jill, who's a rock star in our company, an amazing individual. And this is 2011. This is when the product was released to the public. This is 2020. She's 60 years old right here. I'm not sure how old she is right here. I'll have to ask her. But 2011, so 60, I guess, what? 49, 50, right around here? Something like that, if I'm doing the math right, 49. You guys, it looks like it should go this way, right? Remember, we call it youthful aging, turning back the clock. And this is not a glamour shot. It's just a selfie with her phone. She's very, what do they call it on Facebook? Very seen. That's not the right word, but she's on Facebook a lot, and you can just see her in her daily activities. And this one she sent to me a couple months ago. 42, 60. See right here, she's not supporting her body with nutrition on the level that she could be. Well, back then she couldn't have because this wasn't around. But now she's supporting her body and its innate ability to run at a more optimal level. And that's based on the nutrition. That's the principle of health. Athletes love it too. Bill Andrews, the geneticist, he's an ultramarathon runner. He's running faster at 68 than he did when he was 40. In fact, he beat a record in his 60s that he had set when he was 40 years old. He beat it by 50 minutes, same race. And his wife, Molly, did a race that only 6 people have ever gotten to the finish line. It's in the Himalayas at 18,000 feet, 138 miles long. You only get 60 hours to get there. So there's no sleeping, you just run continuously. And she tried that race without this product. It wasn't existing yet, and she didn't make it. The product comes out, they start running faster, recovering faster, better endurance, better stamina. She's the first female to complete that race and the 7th person. Bill did it a year later after being on this product, and he said he's the oldest person now still to this day that has completed that race in the Himalayas. And he said he's crushing the world record for a 70-year-old in an ultramarathon right now. He's 68. He says, I can't wait till I turn 70. He's going to be in the Guinness Book of World Record for running the fastest ultramarathon. And it's not a fluke. The same thing happened for me. I went from running a 10-minute mile to a 7-minute and 30-second mile in just 5 days, from Monday to Friday. So the athletic world, it's not that they're having any problems with their health, but it takes their stamina to the whole next level. It did the same thing for my daughter at 12 years old. She's an extreme dancer. She's been dancing since she was 4. By the time she was 9, she started dancing 5 to 6 hours a night, 5 to 6 days a week. And then this product came out in 2011. I got her on it. She was like 12 years old at that time. The very first day, she noticed a difference in her stamina and her, being able to endure the workout. And in 3 days, everybody was asking her what she was on. She was already one of the top dancers in her class, if not the top dancer. And it's just that her performance got better. And so much so that they noticed within 3 days, within 2 to 3 weeks, the owner of the studio was on the product. Undeniable. And then my son, his teacher called after 3 days of being on it from school. She literally took the time. Think about this. This is the thing. Like I read deep into things. Like his teacher went home, right, after a hard day's work, took the time to find Carter's parents' phone number, call our house in the evening and find out, why is his focus so much better? Why is he not interrupting me in class and not talking to his neighbor anymore? Why is he so focused? What did you do to him? And that was in 3rd grade, you guys. And then I had a motocross accident. And when it comes to trauma, a lot of people get in accidents, right? Strokes are like trauma as well, can damage telomeres. Well, the doctor said, because this is the worst kind of fracture you could have, I did it in motocross. He said it would take up to a year before I could stand on this leg with all my weight, because the bone exploded into pieces. And he said, I'll never run on it again. I'll have problems with it the rest of my life. Arthritis will set in. It's almost 4 years later. It's like it never happened. And I was running stadiums in 3 months. This is 3 months from the day of the accident. And I was back on the dirt bike in 4 months. He said it'd take up to a year before I could stand on it and I'd never run again. And it's like it never happened. I don't have any problems with that ankle. I seriously forget that I had that accident. This is my little reminder. I was off my feet for 10 weeks. 2 weeks later, I ran stadiums. So the body's ability to heal itself, even with people with trauma from decades ago, we saw it starting to resolve. You would think something that you've had a problem with from an accident, car accident, whatever, horse accident, 10, 20, 30 years later, that's sealed, that's like welded. It's going to be that way for the rest of your life, no matter what you take, right? Those are living cells. They have the ability to course correct. And I started hearing miracle after miracle of the human body. So yeah, I know more about telomeres than most telomere scientists, because I'm out where the rubber meets the road. I'm in the trenches with people. And I've done, like I said, easily over 10,000 presentations and conversations around this, and watched and have the reports reported right back to me, the results. So telomeres play a huge role in our lives, you guys, if you haven't gotten that already. So profound. The more you watch this presentation, the more it starts to sink in. So I'd recommend watching it over and over. We have a 29-minute video. I'm not quite done yet, but we're getting close. I want to talk about, food. And I partnered the Isagenix up with what I believe is the next best product that our company has to offer. We have a whole health food store of products, like close to 100 different products that are unique, specific, and the quality and the science is there. But I'm going to talk about the next biggest one that is a great companion to this, because this isn't food and you still have to eat. And guess what? Today, food is the problem. It is the problem. It's what's causing our problems with our health. Even produce. And here's my kids and grandkids. We're 3 generations into this now. We're going to talk about this shake that they're all drinking. And they just had shakes this morning. They're all sitting at the counter. These 3 right here, they're with us right now from Kenya. And they all had shakes this morning. And they had them last night as well. And they have them every day. They choose to. They want them. It's not like you have to make them. My son right here is making one before school on his own. And I'm like, oh, I got to take a picture. That was a couple years ago. There's the Isagenix that he's swallowing down with the shake. So food's the problem. 1 bowl of spinach used to give you enough iron. That's a mineral you need to help you get pH balance. And spinach is a good source of iron, at least it used to be. In 2007, it takes 51 bowls of spinach to give you the same amount of iron. This is a study from the U.S. Department of Agriculture in 1997, showing the decline of all of the minerals in our soil. And as a result, because of the decline of those minerals, the body gets acidic, because it's minerals that get you pH balance. There's about 90 nutrients that you need to be pH balanced. It's called homeostasis. and 60 of them are minerals. So because they're missing, people are becoming acidic. So what does that mean? Well, it means your body's going to start to fail. Well, here's the failure right here. This is the rise of disease because of the lack of minerals. And it's the same with organic. Organic doesn't mean that it has all the nutritional mineral, at the levels it needs to be. There will be more minerals in organic and less pesticides, but there's still not an adequate amount of minerals in organic, and they still find pesticides because they can still spray them with pesticides, just not as long. So this is the rise of disease as a result. Well, what's going on? Well, when your body's acidic, guess what? You're shortening faster. Remember, it's called accelerated telomere shortening. Your telomeres are shortening faster, especially when you're below 7. That's kind of like the cutoff line. And it's called acidosis. And your body will try to course correct that, just like when you get a cut, it fixes it. It's going to try to fix this problem because it's critical. How does it try to fix the problem unbeknownst to you? Starts pulling minerals out of your bones and organs to try to offset the acidity in the body. It's called acidosis. So obviously these things don't have minerals in them. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, your chicken nuggets and flaming hot Cheetos and donuts. And a lot of people are eating all processed food. That's why we're in a health crisis. My wife's friend from high school, I think 47 years old, 48, 47, just died from 2 major diseases in his body, diabetes and kidney failure. At 47 years old, and that's not out of the norm. It's like, oh man, and people are going into nursing homes now in their 40s. It's because of the accelerated telomere shortening. And how is that happening? A lot of people are eating so much processed food, and then other chemicals and things that are out there in the environment. And also the lack of adequate minerals in the produce. So here's the resolution to that. Oh man, this is superfood. You only need about 90 nutrients to get to homeostasis, pH balance. This has over 200. We have clinical studies around this. It blew them away against like the whole food diet, like eating your macros. Dr. Paul Arciero did it. And it was 6 months against the macro diet versus our nutrition. We blew it away. It made Dr. Paul famous, ended up in medical journals, and get you to homeostasis in like the first week. And all we want you to do to improve your life profoundly and dramatically and easily is just take 1 shake every morning for breakfast. It's the most important meal anyways. You're breaking the fast. That's why they call it breakfast. You're breaking the fast. So you need to put good nutrition in your body. And look what people are putting in their bodies in the morning. So this is 1 meal for the entire month, these 2 canisters, and then this is for the month as well. So this is our ForeverPak. How long do you want to live long and healthy and support your body and have a high quality of life? Hopefully every day of your life. Well, that doesn't just happen. Healthy people do healthy things every day. So I put together this little pack right here to make it simple and easy, but profound. And you'll save money. I'll show you how you'll do that. You'll save money over what you're doing right now. Now, Dr. Paul Arciero, real quick, he did the clinical studies on it. Couldn't believe it. It ended up in medical journals like PubMed, the most distinguished medical journal. And the numbers on it, against the macro diet with no exercise, we lost 4 times more fat. You guys, I released 53 pounds on this 15 years ago, and I've kept it off. Increased muscle. My lean muscle came back. The definition came back. Increased muscle mass 4 times more than eating a healthy lifestyle from the store with no exercise. Increased the metabolism 2 times more. Toxins released through the body's natural toxin releasing mechanisms. Goes out the urine, right? So he said, I wouldn't believe these numbers had I not done them myself. Even the dangerous fats called visceral fat, he said, I would have never believed this because, we never get this. We've never gotten this kind of result with exercise, nutrition. Nothing has ever done this. Look at the fat before and after in the midsection. This is a cutaway of the MRI in the midsection organs. See the white stuff? Gone. Almost all gone. He says, that's impossible. He wrote books about this now. He's famous. He said, when others, researchers start citing your studies, you went big. And look what happened to athletes. He's all, I got to do this with athletes. We've got to get some kind of positive result. Blew him away as what happened to athletes that were already supplementing and working out. 14 times more lower body explosive power, not just like double or tripled, 14 times more. Look at here, arterial stiffness, freeing up those blood vessels to be more pliable. 5 times less arterial stiffness. Remember, over 90% of your results, well, I'd say in this case, 100% of the results came from nutrition, right? So it's a game changer for humanity. It was a game changer for me. And I got so passionate about it once I started seeing what was happening to other people that I was being introduced to in the company. And then people that were asking me about the products because they watched this happen and they were getting on it. I'm like, game on, let's go change the world. You know, I don't mind changing people's oil for a living, but I want to change people's lives. And I put together a little flip chart, and I would go into people's homes after work at night and just share with them what I just shared with you, minus this, because we didn't have this back then. And it was changing people's lives left and right. And I replaced my income in 4.5 months doing that. It was very profound, you guys. And I just not look back. It's been 15 years now. And so educating people is something that I fell in love with doing because it can change their lives. And I could be a part of changing people's lives just by educating them and then introducing them to what can make that difference. And then it was up to them, you know, and as a teacher, I can't make people do anything, but I can do my best to be the best teacher that I can be. So finishing up, I want to show you how you save money now getting on the ForeverPak over what you're currently doing. You're getting ripped off with this because we buy food because we want to fuel the body. We're hungry, right? There is no nutrition in this, none. This is GMO. There's no minerals in there. If there was any minerals, everything else is canceling it out, causing your body to go into, you know, acidosis. And it's way too many calories. That's why we're an obese country. And so you are getting ripped off, economically speaking, and the principle of health. There is no principle of health in that. In this, it's more than enough to get to homeostasis. You only need 90 nutrients. There's over 200. No wonder we blew the clinical studies away. And it's very low calorie. It's not a diet shake. You just don't need all those calories. This stuff turns into glucose very quickly. It's converted into glucose, which is high calorie. That isn't nutrition for the body. This was $8.47 back in 2007 when I made this slide. Today, that meal's $10.50 before tax. Ours before tax is under $3 a meal. It's not even a third of the price of this meal. And it is a complete meal. Everything that's supposed to be, this is. It'll keep you satisfied for 3 to 5 hours. That's what everybody says. And people love how it tastes. Delavine, did you see the picture of my granddaughter? She was 8 months old. She now has associated tasting good with that cup that we use to our bullet blender cup. So it tastes great. It satisfies you. And that replaces a meal. So just test it out that way. It'd be a good economical decision. The average person saves $100 a month. Now let's add the Isagenix because we're the ForeverPak. We want to get the whole thing, right? The DNA and nutritional support. So about half the cost of this meal. Doing the pack. If you did this every day, $315 for the month. You did this every day, $164 for the month. There's no comparison. Economically speaking, and the principle of health. Here, I was trying to be healthy, exercising and juicing. Juicing's a pain in the butt if you've ever done it. I did it. I was desperate, and it wasn't working. And look at me here. And it's so easy. It's delicious. All I do is put that in the blender, you know, blend it up, drink it. I already had my shake. I took the cup into the kitchen, rinsed it out. And it tastes amazing. Okay. So simple, affordable, you save money. And these results have never happened before. Now this, the science and technology, nobody's even aware of this. People have some sense of, you know, I need extra nutrition. I need, you know, I could take a shake, a smoothie, whatever. Most people, 99% of people have no idea that this is even available because they don't even know they have a telomere. But on both cases, we're pioneering it. They have never happened before. Clinically proven, observationally proven. All right. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to try this after seeing this. We eliminated our customer wholesale membership. Used to be $29 a year to get this wholesale price. They eliminated the wholesale price. I'm not going to sell you and say, today and today only, you don't have to pay the membership fee. You'll never have to pay the membership as a customer again. So you're getting what you pay for. There's no membership anymore. And it's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. You eat it all for 30 days, decide if it worked for you or not. Go to Burger King and say, hey, I'm going to do the 30-day challenge. I'm going to eat here every day. And if I don't like it at the end of the 30 days, can I have my money back for all 30 days? Right? So why would you not do this? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the facts are there. You know, Don't let your brain talk you out of it. We call it the drunk monkey, right? He's swinging around. He's drunk in there and he's going crazy. And, don't let your drunk monkey in your brain talk you out of this, because your health is your number one asset. Now, this is an opportunity as well, an opportunity to change other people's lives. And in the process, be compensated. You're not making money off of other people because they're getting the products the same price you are. They don't even have to pay a wholesale membership. So if you introduce this to people and they say, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this my whole life. How do I do it? Right? And they don't pay any membership either. So if you create 2 customers for the company, they'll give you $120 cash. So that's just extra money in your pocket because you're already spending money on food. And this is less money than what you're spending on food now. So nutritionally wise, principally based, and how it satisfies you and the results you get. But now you're going to introduce it. I have a 29-minute video on YouTube. Just ask the person who got you here. You can share this link with people, and it's everything I've showed on here, just in 29 minutes. But you create 2 customers, they give you $120 cash, and check this out. This is mind-boggling, kind of like this. They'll pay you 6% every time anybody in your group orders the product, every time for the rest of your life. 6% on the volume of every product they order for the rest of your life. Me and my wife will hit $10 million this year off of this 6%. $10 million. Changed our life financially. We moved into our dream home. We go on dream vacations. We drive our dream cars. Our kids get to do things. We get to support them on a level that our kids would have never been supported before. So that's why I started going out. When I learned about this, that's why I made the little flip chart and started going into homes at night after work, fixing cars all day. And I replaced my income in 4.5 months. That's my personal results because of the activities I was doing after work. You don't get a result without action. My action was I was sharing it with people. I got the result of getting paid 6%. I'm still getting paid 6% on people that became a part of my group 15 years ago that I didn't even enroll. They was just word of mouth, other people sharing it with other people. You teach these guys how to do that, company will give you another $450 cash. That's $570 cash. Dr. Jay, I think he said he did that in his first week or something like that. And $570 cash on top of the 6%. That adds 4 people to your group that you get paid 6% on for the rest of your life. Just now progress that out. Everybody just sharing it with 2. By the time you get to the 7th level, you would make more than I made on my paper out. Yeah, I had a paper out on before Isagenix. I woke up at 4:30 every morning. It took me 2 hours to deliver 200 newspapers. And then I'd go right into work at work as a mechanic. This replaced that right here on the 7th level. And there were people being enrolled that I didn't enroll, but the company was paying me 6% on everybody. And I'm just doing the math for you here. That would be with this pack. If you're this person and your group was built out to here and you get paid 6% on this pack, that's what you'd be making. The next level retired me, making as much as I did as a mechanic. That's how I did that in 4.5 months because other people were sharing with other people. So it happened pretty fast because our products work. And that was before we even had the Isagenix. That, oh my gosh, that took me to over $1 million a year in 2 years when this product came out. So the biggest thing that excites me is that we're changing people's lives. I don't have to work anymore. The money comes in passively, residually, because when they run out of product, they order more from the company. I get paid on that every time. There's over 335,000 people in my group. I got paid last night, more than I made in a month as a mechanic. In fact, we passed this, but this right here is over 50,000 a month right here. We're about to double that. We make every 10 days what I used to make in a year. But what excites me the most is not the money, it's this, changing people's lives. Knowing that when I share this information, there may be somebody new that's hearing it right now. And I hear the stories, I get the information back, I hear them, if not daily, for sure weekly, I get reports back to me and it changing people's lives and what the results were. So, and both physically and financially, it's awesome. They just announced the 322nd millionaire. We had like 6 millionaires announced in like a 3-day period. 6 new millionaires. We're at like 322 now of customers. People that just started out by using the products, but then they saw value in how it changed their lives. Well, it ought to change my husband's life, my kids' lives, my relatives, my friends at work. And so they share it. And then they get really proactive with it and start sharing with people at night after work or whenever. So my life is completely and dramatically and profoundly different than it's ever been. And I just don't have a finish line for it. I love what I'm doing. I'm happily achieving. Where when I was a mechanic right here, the window on our house broke. You know, I'm delivering newspapers every morning, not because I wanted to. That did not make me happy. It made me ornery. But I had to have that extra $600 a month. And I still couldn't replace the broken window. We were not driving the car that we love to drive. And we were behind every month. In fact, I had a bankruptcy in my life. I'll be transparent. And I worked 16 to 18 hours a day. I was honest, faithful, and a hard worker. And I did excellence with my work. And I was still struggling. And I wasn't happy. That changed. I'm happily achieving. I still am to this day, and I'm financially free. I don't have to work, but I'm still happy. And what makes me happy? Sharing this information that changes people's lives. So we did 3 dream vacations. I mean, this could be for anybody because Isagenix treats everybody equally. Anybody can make that 6%. We're at 322 millionaires, 6 in the last 3 days, and we're just getting started. Only 1%, less than 1% of people in the United States are on our products. What's the percentage of people that shop at Walmart? You know, there's probably a pretty high percentage, 20, 30, 40%, 50 maybe. We're not even at 1%. And they have to keep going back for the product so you get a residual income, just like Walmart does from the customers that keep coming back. We're not even close to a Walmart. It's laughable. We're not even at 1% of the population in the United States. So that 6% is for everyone. We're going to create a lot more millionaires. One of the co-founders, I laugh because I feel the same way. She said, everybody will be an Isagenix. They just got to hear about it from somebody they trust. So yeah, 3 dream vacations. These 2 cost more than I made in a year. Safari in Africa, staying at the Disneyland Hotel, paying for all the family, the 4 rooms at the Disneyland Hotel for a week. And I made more money while I was on those vacations than they cost. And they cost more than I used to make in a year as a mechanic. Then we went to Europe for 10 days. I mean, this dream life, it's a fairy tale dream life. But that's the way the company wanted to set it up. And I'm so grateful for this company. And I hope that you'll really feel the truth of it. Don't listen to the drunk monkey. Get back with the person. When's the best time to start changing your life? But that'd be today. When would now be the best time to start? Now. And you can start getting results immediately because that's how principles work. Once you start doing the action, you get the results called the consequence. And remember, the $29 membership doesn't exist anymore to get your products at the wholesale price. You don't have to share it with anybody if you don't want, or maybe you want to try the products out and you get the result. And then you say, yeah, I don't have any problems. I don't have any problem sharing if it works. And when it works, you can share with 2 people. They give you about 30 days to do that. And you get $120 cash and you start making the 6%. So if you become proactive with that, just grow that out, right? And build a retirement for yourself. And remember, you have access to all of the products of the company through the no-cost wholesale membership. That's just so cool. It's free $99, right? To have access to all of this. You're getting a better deal than I did. I had to pay the membership. All right. So do with that what you will. You've been educated. You've been taught how to fish. Now you can fish to your heart's content. All right. Again, if I didn't say it, get back to the person that got you here that'll help you get started. You know, John Myers, your arm was twisted because you ended up in the hospital. And Michael Bias, whose results were off the charts, he's riding 100-mile, bike rides now where he can only ride about 25, 30 miles, take 3 or 4 days to recover, and then do it again. He's riding 100-mile bike rides, and he told me some days he works out when he gets home from that bike ride. And he twisted your arm as your boss when you were having health challenges and didn't make you, but almost made you get on the product. And here you are today promoting them. Somebody that was skeptic, for a brand new person, share with them from your heart and your experience what's happened for you that might, push them over the edge.
Well, Dave, what happened to me, and thank you, I ended up, unfortunately, several years back in the hospital, and I had a severe digestive trauma going on that snuck up on me, and I turned in my 60s. And what happened was Michael was perceptive enough, my boss, to stand over my desk when I finally got back into working, because I'd been in the hospital. And he really kind of laid this out to me, but I have a very small world. Reno is a very small world. And he started talking about telomeres and about Dr. Bill Andrews. I said, wait a minute, that's Sierra Sciences. That's Dr. Bill Andrews. He's actually our phone client. I sell phone systems at that point. And I said, I know all about telomeres because Dr. Bill had taught me about 8 years before that about them when I went into his lab one time to talk to him about his phones. And I said, I know exactly what that does. You mean there's actually something out that'll help me? And Michael was like, yeah, you got to get on this stuff. So, you know, he's my boss. And I said, I better do this, right? But I also was convinced because I knew about the telomere science. And I was amazed that there was something out there that was going to work. And I got on the products. And I remember 2 weeks into it, I got on the shakes and the Isagenix that was in the essentials vitamins. About 2 weeks into it, I was buzzing around my office, just going, wow, hey, I feel way better than I should. I've been in the hospital. I was feeling like PTSD from the hospital events. And I just kept with it. I thought, oh, this is good after 2 weeks. After about 4 months, people were coming up to me and they were reflecting to me how I acted, how I looked, how my mental ability was, the smile on my face. You know, I was just like a new person. And that transformation, Dave, was super, super timely and super important to me. I needed to do better at work. I just felt that I was slipping away, and that all went away. It has been gone now for a couple of years. I mean, I just can't tell you how wonderful it is to be living the transformed life. And you know what? I was with Dr. Bill on Monday because he's here in Reno, and he brought it up. He said, John, I'm going to be breaking that record. I am on track to break the world ultra marathon record at 70. And he was just talking to me about a 38-mile run he was going on that day and just outlining like what he's doing. I said, are you actually back in training? He said, yeah, I am. I said, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, you know, this is so real. And then Shelly and I, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe, it was about 5 weeks ago, Shelly got this app. And it was this app about getting off the couch, which we're not really on that much. We ride our bikes and exercise. But it was about running a 5K. And I hadn't run for 20 years. I had run a marathon when I was in 1986, the LA Marathon with my father. My father beat me. But I was like, you know what? Bill said that the most important thing to do as far as athletics is to keep running if you can. So we got off the couch. We did a 20-minute run couple of days ago. We're going out right after this to go run again. And then we're going to bike up at Tahoe. I'm telling you what, I'm 64. And, you know, I haven't shaved this morning and all that stuff, you know, so maybe I got a little bit older look, but I look and feel incredible. So does Shelly. And we rock it, Dave. We just rock it. Tonight when we get back from the ride, we're going over to somebody's house that called us up and said, hey, I got all my friends coming over. They want to hear about this stuff.
Wow.
And we're going to be doing a home party, a first one in a long time, a presentation. And we're really excited about helping that person who's already also seeing results. And that person's 83 years old. So it's non-generational. It affects all generations. It's good for everybody. I'm taking too much time, I guess, here, but I just wanted to relate to you some of the events of our lives in the past few days. And we wouldn't be talking like this if it wasn't for the fact that we met you and my boss met Malcolm, and how this incredible legacy has occurred. But I want to
I can hear the enthusiasm and passion and the truth of what you're saying. And you've been in for a couple of years, you know, and here I am at 15 years and I still have the passion in it. It's because it just keeps working again and again for new people. And there's so many people out there that need this and are looking for it. And that's what keeps that passion alive, right? And then the fact that you're running again, you know, that's so awesome. I love that part of your story. I didn't know you were a runner when you shared that last time.
Yeah, and we doubled up on the joint support too, because I
mean,
realized
we have incredible products that are very specific oriented. Yeah. Well, I love it. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. And I did, you know, you guys, I just called John out. I didn't text him before and say, hey, can you share your story? I could do that with a number of people right here, and people that have been in for a week, people that have been in for 2 years, people that have been in for 10 years. You know, the company's amazing. We have an amazing culture, and everybody helps everybody. Like everybody on this screen they're not all on my team, but we all treat each other like we're one big ISA family. And that's unique, not only in this industry, in the corporate world you know, as well. In fact, in the corporate world, it may be even more cutthroat. And but we just have such a family abundance, you know, mentality. We do personal development training, which is all free, you know, all on these Zooms. And we do different things throughout the week. And then we have our Facebook group, and we're streaming live into the Facebook group right now called ForeverPak. And that's where we bring people in that we run into out on the street. And Crystal, you know, shared with me that somebody that had been in that group for a long time finally decided to pull the trigger. And just amazing what we have as a community. It's really one of those communities that supports people and wants to cheer them on to go up with your dreams, where most people that are surrounded by other people, you want to do what? You're dreaming, you know, and they really are antagonistic and they want to steal people's dreams, mostly out of fear and just feeling like, you know, I should be doing that too, and they don't, and so they feel bad, and so they take that out on somebody who is dreaming. We don't do that. We totally support and encourage, and then we also give the information. Like Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he said, I love this industry because it's people sharing real practical application skills with other people and wanting to see them succeed. And that's what we have. And I'd say we're leading the way on that. So we invite you to be a part of all of it on whatever level you want. Okay, we're going to transition now right into the numbers and going into the business. So for those of you that are guests and wanted to hear the science, if you want to, you're invited to stay on. But we do encourage you to get back to the person that got you here and let them help you get started immediately. And the products will be to your house in a few days. This shows up really quick. All right. And then join that Facebook group and share your results with us. Okay. All right, let's transition now into the business portion, where as you share with people, and it's not that you're taking on a business and you have to spend all your time doing this and people are going to be all over you as to, you know, you should be doing more. That's not what this is. It's do it at the level, and we meet people where they're at. And some people just want to take their time and do it when it's convenient. And some people, they're desperate. They're in a situation right now where they're not able to, you know, pay the bills right now because of what's going on. And so this is kind of a godsend for them, an answer to prayers. So I'm going to stop with the Facebook live stream, and just give me 1 second here. I'm going to put this back live into Facebook in the business group. And again, we're really aware and want to make sure that we're sensitive to people's feelings and what they're looking for. And so we have a ForeverPak group, and we have a ForeverPak business group in Facebook. And so I'll stream this business portion into the business group. If you liked that presentation, you can add people to that group and then tag them to the video we just streamed into the ForeverPak group. If you're not a member of that, ask the person that invited you here to make you a member of that. And then they can tag you to the stream, and then you can invite friends into there and tag them to that stream. That's what I love about this. They can go back and watch it if they missed the live. And then remember that there is also the YouTube links that you can share. And you can just text those to people and they could watch that. It's 27, I keep saying 29 minutes, it's like 27 minutes, right into their text, and they could watch it on their phone. Okay, we're streaming now into the Facebook business, ForeverPak business group. And let me share my screen here. Let me turn my iPad on. We're gonna go right into some visual along with explaining this. And any of you leaders that wanna chime in on the features and benefits, the pros and cons, any added information that you have while we do this, chime in and add to the value. Okay. It's not letting me open up. Give me 1 second here. We'll use this. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so there's a lot of people that are coming in that are new, and in order to them not to miss some valuable timeline information, we just hit the basics on this, help understand the comp plan and some of the bonuses that are based on a timeline, and then how to get yourself into income producing mode. So this is just a repeat, and we'll go right into the numbers and how to do that. And some of it's going to sound foreign to you. It's going to sound, what do they say? It's going to sound Egyptian to you. And you know, some of it's the practical application, logging into your website and doing, you know, the actions. It's kind of like on the job training. You have somebody that's teaching you. And when you're on the job training, doing what they're teaching you, you learn much faster. But this will still give you a sense of things that you need to understand just through the educating part of it. The practical application you'll do with the person that, you know, invited you here. It's really simple, but again, when it's foreign to you, it doesn't seem simple. It seems confusing, but we'll try and keep it as, is it the word cohesive or as possible. Okay, so everybody starts out, excuse me, as a customer. And oh, I wanted to make some other people, if they've joined us since, co-host. Yeah, there's JoJo. And then JoJo, you can make anybody else co-host if you want. I think I got most everybody else that we typically have helped share. Okay. Okay, so are you there, JoJo? Can we hear you?
Yep. Good morning.
Okay. Morning. JoJo and I have been working together for almost 15 years now, and she was a tanning salon owner and owned 3 tanning salons. Also dealt blackjack. She was born and raised in Las Vegas and dealt blackjack, and really from an entrepreneurial side, a professional, and brings a great added perception into really what we have here. With their no membership cost for a customer, people don't take the seriousness of it and what it really is, because they don't feel like they've invested anything like that, hundreds of thousands of dollars like JoJo did to start her salons. So she brings some great value to this as well in that and so many other ways. And is a millionaire in the company, Isagenix. All right. So everybody starts out as a customer. If you've got a notepad, you know, take some notes as we go along here. And I need to stop the recording here and then restart it. It'll be in 2 different